Hey everybody, Mark from Rams up here. I will be dropping our regular podcast on Monday morning, perhaps late Sunday night, covering this just ended Ram Charger game. Give you some thoughts on that, more detail than I'm going to give you right now, but I wanted to get a video out tonight. Some quick thoughts on what we saw. Some good things, a lot of good things actually. Number one, obviously the performance of the wide receiver Lance McCutcheon. My special assistant texted me and said, "Hey, this is sort of like that Victor Cruz coming out party with the Giants in 2010. Nobody knew who that guy was, and here comes Lance McCutcheon. Not as impactful as Victor Cruz's performance, but still, man, he looked good." And what gets me is I haven't heard McCutcheon's name hardly at all. Insiders and Twitter Nation talking about the Rams rookies that are standing out. Never heard this guy's name, and there he is, lights out against the Chargers. What a performance. 6'3", 202 out of Montana State. I think based on what we saw tonight, he's going to make this team. So didn't see that coming. Want to see more of him next week, see if he can keep it up. I also like the play of our two young quarterbacks, Durant and Kendrick. They were both really good, especially early on. Bobby Brown, when he was suspended for the first 6 games, when we heard about that, I wasn't terribly upset because I wasn't sure what he brought to the table at this point. And then he plays really well tonight. And I'm like, oh, this guy coming back week 7, it'll be awesome. We really need some depth along that defensive line, and Bobby Brown could be the guy. And then the injury looked like a fairly severe ankle injury. Cross our fingers, it's not that bad. Hopefully he can be back before, right about when that suspension's over, perhaps. We'll have to see, though. Hopefully it's not too bad. We'll know more in the morning, I think. Early on, Daniel Hardy and the other edge rushers looked really good. A little quieter later on, but obviously Hardy has a great skill set. Chris Garrett didn't play. You know what that means? That means the Rams are in love with him, and he's going to be in that rotation. I also liked A.J. Rose. I mean, we all know what Jake Funk brings to the table by now. Kyren Williams, the draft pick, the running back out of Notre Dame, he won't be able to play for a little bit. But A.J. Rose, I liked that little wiggle he brings at the goal line. That one play, I watched it 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, there's no way he's getting in here. And sure enough, he scored. So liked what he brought to the table. Wasn't real happy with the play of the offensive line, although Sean McVay did call out A.J. Jackson's play. So Logan Bruss, I don't think he had a good night. Austin Trammell, he's a guy that I said would be returning some kicks, and he did. And in the receiving game, he reminded me of Danny Amendola so much, the way he carries himself, especially with the ball in his hands. I'm not saying he's that caliber, but very similar. I don't think he really has a chance of making this team. Maybe the practice squad. Hard to dislike that guy and the way he plays the game. Now, Bryce Perkins, probably going to take some heat for this. I think he's a very good backup quarterback. He's such a change of pace guy that if he comes off the bench in support of to replace Wolford or Stafford, God forbid, such a change of pace. He can really do some damage with his legs. But in the preseason, we need to see him in the pocket making throws, reading the defenses, going through his progressions, and completing passes. And I'm not saying he didn't have a good night. He had a very good night. I'm just saying I want to see more of that, less running. There was one play, Andrew, the announcer, said, that's what we want to see from Bryce Perkins. And beg to disagree. That's not what I want to see, him bouncing off of linebackers and extending plays and running for 17 yards in a preseason game. I want to see him developing his game, finding receivers in the passing game. Overall, good night for the Rams who pull out the win. Who really cares about that? But good night for the Rams. Highlights, obviously, McCutcheon, the rookie cornerbacks, A.J. Rose, Daniel Hardy. And I want to mention the kicking game. Dicker had all the duties tonight, punting and kicking. I'm not sure what that means. It could actually mean Riley Dixon has that punting job wrapped up. We'll have to see. But maybe we'll see Dixon next week and Dicker will take a seat. But I expect that competition to go for a few more weeks. We'll have to see. So that's it for now. Please subscribe and give this channel a 5-star rating and look for our podcast at the latest next drop Monday morning. Out here for now.